Okay, so the relationship between pain and dread. First, we need to identify why we study pain in psychology. So pain has to do with our sense of touch, which is why we study it with sensation. It can also go along with the other senses, but it's almost a whole sense of its own as well. So in the brain, there is what's called a somatosensory cortex. Now the somatosensory cortex is made up of pain receptors. And those pain receptors let us feel pain to a certain extent. Now, there are people that have high pain thresholds and there are people that have low pain thresholds. Have you ever heard of that? Mm-hmm. So people with low pain thresholds can get a paper cut and they're acting like they just got their arm sawed off. And people with high pain thresholds can like break their leg or get shot and not even notice for a while. And then when they do, they feel it. But like before they do, they kind of are like, what? They don't even get it. So this is monitored by something called gate control theory. Now think of the gate as being like the gate that holds off the pain until it's opened. So the gate is controlled until it violates our threshold. So pain is held back until it breaks the threshold. So whatever the pain is that we're feeling, it has to be enough to break this gate and get through our threshold. And then we feel it in the pain receptors, we perceive it in the somatosensory cortex, and then we understand we're feeling pain and how much, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, psychology has discovered there's this really interesting connection between pain and dread. Now, what do you think dread means? Like when you hear that, what do you think?
Dread something,
like what happens if you dread something? Like
if you had like a bad experience with something.
So let's say like I had a bad experience at the dentist. So now every time I have to go to the dentist, I dread it. And the longer I have to wait in the waiting room, the more that dread grows. So what's interesting is waiting in dread. So like dreading something, like I don't want to, like, I went to a haunted house this weekend and couldn't go in. I feel really lame for that. But, there was so much waiting and there was so much buildup that I was really dreading it. And, they say that dread activates the somatosensory cortex. So it activates our pain receptors. So when we are dreading something, we are literally in pain. We don't feel it physically, but our brain perceives it in the same way, which is why dread can really just overtake you sometimes. So any questions on that?
No.
Alrighty.